Hello, everybody. So this one's gonna hurt a little bit. So it could be two parts of this video. I'm gonna talk about the inflation regarding vehicles and regarding someone that I had to block, a female. So okay, the car inflation is impacting me. Uh, I assumed it was going to be more of a strength of a financial responsibility of me not owning a vehicle. I calculated it. Um, okay, so this is I was upside down about 10 years ago. Okay, I had a sedan and I wanted an SUV again. I went from SUV to sedan and it didn't feel right. Okay, safety was part of it, but I wanted an SUV. It just feels more comfortable. That's what I wanted. I knew I was gonna be in a vehicle. I bought the sedan brand new off the lot. Okay, I thought if I was gonna be in a vehicle, it better be something that I actually want to be in. That I actually want. I want to be in an SUV more than a sedan. Traded it in. I was upside down because I didn't own the vehicle very long. I made a huge mistake. So I get this brand new um, SUV, right? And because I was upside down, it took me about 8 years to pay off this vehicle. Okay, as soon as I paid off this vehicle, and you're looking at $700 a month in car payments. And although I have a good driving record in Texas, you got to pay more for insurances. Your premiums have to be higher compared to other states. It's just if you think you're going to save money in Texas, living in Texas, you got to look at the whole picture of what you're actually giving up moving to like a red state, an extreme red state where they low minimum wage, the lowest they can pay you, bad infrastructure. Is it worth it? I don't know. One thing I noticed too when I did move to Texas, um, after I got out of the military, was the amount of flats I would get in my vehicle. Just with the roads in Texas, you'll understand compared to even blue states have a lot better roads. Okay. Um, and so what happens is my transmission goes out in 2021, 3 months after I made my last final car payment, right? So I took it to one place, and the guy said, "Hey man, it's not the CVT's transmission, and because of the 2020, we're backed up. We don't even know we can fix it. We don't even know we got the parts to fix it." This was Amco. And then I went to another, I did not want to go to the dealership because they're just gonna, your car's a piece of junk. You want to buy another one, right? And I don't want to buy a Nissan again. Right? Yes, 8 years on a freaking Nissan, right? A Nissan SUV. Jesus Christ, man. On a Nissan Murano. God damn, right? So, uh, so when you look at all these YouTubers, right? Like these, okay, there's YouTubers that all they do is talk about the car inflation, and they got like 300,000 subscribers. There's a female. I just watched her. Every day she talks about the car inflation. I don't know if she's young. She's like 20 something years old. I don't know if has she ever bought a vehicle, but she's got like 288,000 subs. Talking about I want you guys to really know what vehicle inflation really does to a person, right? Okay, so I don't consider myself a loser. Okay, like I have my own apartment by myself. I don't ask for anything. I don't even ask for rides, right? I already got it down. Okay, I got my legs. I got a Specialized Series bicycle. I got the buses. I got public. You Uber if I need to get somewhere real quick. Um, I got it down decent, right? Okay, so now, but in April 2021, I was looking at vehicles. Since I was 20 years old, I've always been in a vehicle. When the car had like major problems, like a transmission or a head gasket, I remember just either trading the vehicle in and just getting another one. I don't remember it being like this. I was a E3 and I had a Toyota Supra in the military. Okay, I make way more money than I do now as an E3, and I have no vehicle. Okay, so this is okay. So apparently there's this car salesman. There's actually car salesmen on these YouTube channels, and one guy is telling you exactly what to do with a car salesman. He's telling you buy the extended warranty. You need to put up as much money down as he's not he's telling you how to get ripped off, and he has like 500,000 subscribers. And people are watching this shit. And every once in a while you'll see somebody say he's a car salesman. What the hell is he talking about? He's gonna rip you off. Like, but whatever, okay? So this is my experience, okay? April of 2021, I have no vehicle. I open up like some car catalog newspaper thing, right? So it's like a Toyota 4Runner, 100,000 miles on it, is going for 55 grand. And I'm like, with like 5% API. That's another thing. I have a driver license. I don't have a vehicle, and you got these psychopaths on the road still. Like it's just like driving, right? So one thing too is I don't live with other people, right? So I'm not one of those people that got like 5 or 6 cars like in the driveway, like 2 vehicles parked on the grass. Like I live by myself, and it's like one guy, one vehicle, right? I had 2 vehicles like way back, like 20 years ago, but only one was working, and the other one needed a lot of work. So I sold it, right? And okay, so I saw something that can just get me around. Where I was living at in Texas, I saw like a 2001 Toyota Camry for $3,900. It said 3,900 on top of the little white marker on the windshield. Okay, see how much time I got. Okay, so 3,900 some dollars on the white paint windshield, white chalk, whatever they write it with, right? So I go over there, and the Toyota Camry has 279,000 miles. And I know it's a Toyota, okay? And one thing too is I'm hearing all these stories of oh, I'm so happy with my old Volkswagen. I got 300,000 miles. I'm hearing all these, oh, I bought a 2000 Lexus, 15 years ago. It still runs fine. I'm not worried about this vehicle right now. Like all these lucky mother effers, with their 300,000 mile vehicles, right? That don't happen with me. I'm pretty standard, 100 to 150,000 that the vehicle stops working. I don't get these 200,000, 300,000 opportunities like some of these people in the comment sections, right? So the person tells me no, the car, that's what you can put down. The car is selling for 11,900. I go, this like 2001 Camry with 279,000 miles is going for almost $12,000. I mean, you got to be a stupid mother effer if you're gonna buy it. Like you got to be retarded, right? I mean, even if it runs, right? I mean, oh God. So I end up moving to a different part of Texas where there's where there's better infrastructure, but it's slightly better, but there's such a negative stigma about with a vehicle without owning okay, unless you're on the East Coast, like in Brooklyn, okay. When I'm in Brooklyn or anywhere in New York City, public transportation is just the norm. People don't want to like they leave the vehicles at home and they use public transportation. Like the vehicle in New York is basically almost like a boat. You know, you take it out if you're going somewhere like far. Oh man, I don't know. If you're in New York and you need to drive to Delaware or something, you take the vehicle. But people drive in New York too. A lot of people are driving in New York, so it's like have them drive, have them take the subways and stuff. But it's not Keanu Reeves takes a subway, right? So it's not a degrading or a bad stigma. But anywhere else outside the East Coast and maybe Seattle and San Francisco, anywhere else you're considered low value man. I remember I did a video about what makes you look low value, and that's just like by default. That's just you as a human being not having a vehicle. That doesn't mean like me not owning a vehicle. Like if you look at my resume, right, and you can say, okay, well he's not a loser, or you can maybe say that he's not a loser. He just doesn't have a vehicle. But you actually got to look at my resume. See that I'm not a loser. Okay, and the thing too that's bothering me is I see losers with vehicles. Okay, so I went to the dealership. Picture San Diego miles of cars. Okay, picture like a Texas version of that, right? In National City, I think it was called like Miles of Cars. Okay, with all these cars. So I go down these car dealerships, and I don't know what the heck I saw, but there was this like wagon. It looked like almost like a hearse. Okay, it was ugly, and it was going for $89,000 sticker price. I couldn't believe it, right? And then I'm looking at all these, and no, usually before you couldn't drive by a dealership without them waving you. Like you couldn't even drive around them. Like there was like 4 or 5 car salesmen out all the time, and they were just prowling. Like if you just glanced at their vehicles, they were coming out to greet you, right? So I've been several times just looking, and they don't know if I drove there. They don't know. Obviously, I didn't, right? I didn't ride my bike there, right? But I've actually been over there. Okay, either I got off on the bus, I walked over, right, and no one's on the floor greeting you. Multiple dealerships, and one time I would have had to knock on the dealership's door, being all desperate. Once you got to knock on the salesperson's door to if you're interested in a vehicle, it's game over. Like you're completely like they control the whole situation, right? So and then you're gonna go like with the once you make a deal, right? They still take you to the financial department is where the financial department is where they try to sell you extended warranties. That's the last stop before they rip you off. Like you can feel all good and dandy, like talking to the dealer, the car salesman. He can make you comfortable, okay? But once you try making an official deal, it's the financial manager that's gonna get you. So you gotta get through. So the dealer is like the first level boss, right? You gotta beat that first level boss, okay? But then you gotta fight another boss, and that's the financial. And remember, you already test drove the car. You want that vehicle, and what's bought. So no, I don't want to do any of that. I think I'm gonna beat the shit out of a car salesman or a financial manager if I'm put in a stressful situation like what they would do, right? So okay, so one time, okay, this was in another part of Texas. I had a storage unit, okay, and I was putting a bicycle in my storage unit, and this ugly Karen with like horrible teeth, right? She asked me, she goes, "Where's your car at?" And I go, "I don't need a vehicle. Why are you asking me that?" And she goes, "Oh, I'm just wondering, what are you doing here then if you don't have a vehicle?" And I'm not, and I just, and I walked away from her, right? So as I'm leaving the storage unit, she starts following me, okay? And she starts saying, "You're a trespasser. I'm gonna get you. you were trespassing, you had no right, I'm missing some stuff, right? Even though she had a bunch of junk and she's driving a vehicle. You know, I don't know, maybe she lives with her parent, but she's driving, she's got a bunch of disgusting, like a bunch of hoarder crap coming out of her SUV, but I'm the one that's walking. And like I said, some of these people, if you live at home with your parents and you're an adult, don't give me no fucking advice. Okay? I want, of course, if I lived with my parents, I could probably have a car too. Okay? I want to pay rent and shit, or at least I'd have help paying rent, right? So I had a talk with the property manager, and I said, if I see her, if she says hi to me, I'm calling the cops. If she says anything to me, I'm just gonna call the cops. She accused me that she was missing some things. She followed me. He goes, yeah, I understand. And I guess he told her, do not say anything to him. He will call the cops. And then I guess he let me know. But that's the shit that, yeah, even though people are stupid, but that's the shit that I gotta go through because I don't have a vehicle. Like you got to deal with stupid people already. What's the word? I can't even think of. Okay, so this is the fine. So I actually went to these dealerships, and this is the outcome. And they're getting a stipend. They're getting paid not not to lower the prices. That's the only thing I can think of. Something's going on. Because they're not desperate. They should be desperate, right? You would think that they would be begging people to take these vehicles off their lot. They're not moving. But on YouTube, they're literally showing, a guy is literally showing the scam where the dealers are taking their cars to be auctioned off. Rather than selling it to the consumer for a cheaper price, they'd rather auction it off to other dealers. It's just freaking nuts. It's like, how can you sleep? Like, I couldn't live with myself if I was doing that to people. Or you know what? If I did that for one day, I'd be dead. Like, if I rip somebody off, I don't have a chance to rip people off. Because if I did it, I wouldn't last too long. It's just the way my life is, right? How things are planned out. So, how much time we got? Okay, so this thing is, people are making comments saying, "Hey, be yourself. If more people were like you, we wouldn't be in this financial car crisis. If people could just hold out." And you'd be surprised how insecure people are. Um, Maybe including myself, but I haven't done it yet. But I see someone being so insecure of not owning a vehicle that they just go buy one and they don't care if they're in debt, or they don't care that this vehicle will impact their whole financial history, right? Okay, especially when the cars start breaking down. And that's one thing I noticed too. A lot of these vehicles, when I walk, run, ride my bicycle, they're not kept in condition. People aren't affording like brakes. A lot of screeching, slamming brakes, a lot of accidents, a lot of oil leaks and shit like that, right? So what really bothered me is I met a lady, and I don't know if it's just an intellectual thing. I have no idea. I thought that maybe like if I can explain myself and just if they understood the car crisis, because other people do understand the car epidemic, right? A lot of people do. Even a lot of Uber drivers understand it. They're the most understanding ones that I've spoken to, right? Um, but it made no sense how callous or naive this person was, and I don't know if she did it just to get underneath my skin, but she asked me, she goes, do you know how to drive? And I go, yes, I have a driver license. And in Texas, like because it's a border state too, um, half the drivers don't have insurance and license and registration. They're either missing, like you barely get like all three. Only like a quarter of Texas drivers apparently have all three. Like driver license, registration, and registration is not expensive in Texas like it is in California, right? But it's like, and I'm explaining to her, I go, half these drivers in Texas don't have a driver license. I have a driver license. Okay, I just don't want to buy a car because I don't need it right now. I don't. It's because of inflation. I travel a lot, San Francisco and New York. So over there, they're not car dependent cities, right? Um, and you know, what I had to do is I had to send her my driver license. I lost total respect, self respect. I did something like that, right? Where I literally took a picture of my driver license and sent it to her just to show her that, you know, I don't know child support. I don't have any children. You know, I don't have felonies. I didn't never got my driver license taken away. This is I had a driver license. The transmission went out. I never bought a vehicle. I didn't know I was gonna meet anybody. Whatever, right? So uh, once I had to do that, it stuck with me, and then I ended up just blocking this lady. I was just like, how can she be not so? I make more money than her. Okay, I mean it's like, yeah, for me to have to do that, to have to go that route, it was just it was pretty humiliating that I think about it. I really wanted to make the person comfortable to know that, hey, uh, I do have a driver license. You're not dating someone that doesn't pay child support, or and it this got to me. This really got to me. I mean, I'm leaving comments on other, like, on vehicle channels and stuff. People are like, "Yeah, man, I wish I could be like you, man. You really got it down, with what you did. You didn't give in and buy a vehicle." And but it's like, look what I'm dealing with, though. Look. I mean, even public transportation. I thought, like, a few weeks ago I was gonna beat this homeless drug addict's ass. Like, is it? Am I really saving money if I gotta pay? Because in a situation like that, I gotta make sure it's self defense, right? Um, because these homeless drug addicts will still sue, right? I gotta make sure if I get arrested, do I have money for to bail out, to get a lawyer? It's still like you're still dealing with other things using public transportation. There's still it's still kind of humiliating. So I'll talk to you later. Take care. But yeah, it did mess me up, this whole vehicle crisis thing. Bye.